Muzz has been one of the game's most consistent solo players since the Solo Victory Cash Cup was introduced, and in today's video we're going to break down how he won the most recent Solo Victory Cash Cup with this 11 elimination victory royale. Muzz is very fortunate in this game that when he lands at his drop of Pleasant Piazza, not a single opponent can test him. This gives him a significant amount of loot density and also gives him a significant amount of materials off spawn, which is going to allow him to play aggressive early on in this match. Muzz is going to be granted an easy first elimination. After taking the ring to rotate, he sees this opponent trying to harvest materials and uses the SMG here to do a significant amount of damage, eventually dropping him into the box and then editing the ramp to easily clean up this elimination. After picking up that elimination, things are not going to go too well for Muzz here. First off, he ends up getting into a box fight with a skilled opponent who ends up hitting him for a decent amount of damage, and as he tries to pop this Nuka-Cola here, unfortunately he doesn't cover his back, and the opponent punishes him here, cracking his shield and getting him incredibly weak. Fortunately, Muzz though smartly uses his materials to create enough space to let that Nuka-Cola heal him up, and he smartly disengages here, investing a Nitro Splash to quickly get away from the opponent and then harvest the cactus around the drop spot to ensure he gets his shield back up. After getting healthy again and getting some more materials, Muzz decides to fight this opponent, once again using the ring, and then opens up the fight with a significant amount of damage. Take note of how he uses the Nitro here, first pickaxing the wall to get it to less than 70 HP. This allows him to then break it and then take the back wall on the opponent. He then uses the shotgun to weaken the ramp the opponent placed, and then he slides in a cone, quickly resetting his wall and hitting a nice 3-tile edit on the left, where his crosshair is right on the opponent, picking up this very nice elimination. Muzz again is going to show off his incredible fighting IQ here. He sees this fellow professional player, Darts, who's boxed up here in the Nitro Dome, and he uses one of the Nitro Splashes that spawn on the map to shoot it at the opponent's box, thus breaking the structures and getting a significant amount of damage off with the SMG. And then Muzz is still going to show you that Nitro can be valuable even post-nerf. As Darts tries to continually rebox, he eventually gets onto the lair, using his SMG to weaken the structure to sub 70 HP, then uses the Nitro to immediately walk in, slide in a cone, and one-pump this fellow professional player. A little later on, Muzz gets into another engagement with a player whose name is actually Minimuzz. He actually starts off this fight here with a slight disadvantage due to him taking a minimal damage shotgun shot. However, he uses good crosshair placement throughout this entire fight, as the opponent, trying to make space here, actually doesn't look where he's placing the builds, and Muzz's crosshair placement here allows him to obliterate this opponent who is building without actually looking, and cleans up this elimination. Elimination number 5 pretty much follows the same exact recipe we've seen for most of these engagements. He starts off the fight with a significant damage advantage, then pops a Nitro, but however, in this case, the opponent continually tries to run away, and Muzz ends up chipping away at his HP, eventually using the Nitro to claim height here, spraying in and then claiming this wall and cleaning up this elimination. After picking up that elimination, Muzz makes some mistakes in the next engagement. He does start off the fight once again with a significant amount of damage, and as that opponent tries to disengage, Muzz hits him for a significant amount of damage, so of course he plays aggressive, chasing him with Nitro. However, he ends up eating some damage from a third party and then popping a Nuka-Cola, box fighting that same opponent. The opponent though then catches Muzz off guard here when he double swings, thus cracking his shield. So Muzz once again ends up popping another Nuka-Cola. However, he gets beamed from a third party here, and this forces him to disengage with a huge lack of health and shield. Also, he's being held in the storm, which is bad for endgame and healing, and he didn't pick up a mat refresh here since he was unable to put that opponent down. All is not lost for Muzz though, since he smartly returns to a previous engagement that he had gotten and picks up the materials and heals from that fight, so he can somewhat recover from the mistakes he made earlier. It's now getting very close to the endgame, and Muzz does not have the materials he needs, so he decides to play aggressive. He sees an opponent who's rotating in front of him towards the dead side of zone. He ends up getting a beam with the Mythic AR here, and watch how he once again uses the Nitro Splash to end this fight. he weakens the structure with his AR and then immediately runs in as the opponent tries to place a build, but he again uses Nitro here to then break that ramp, replace it with a cone, and clean up this elimination and get a huge refresh before the end game really starts. Muzz, once again, a little bit later on before the first moving zones, is down on materials. He repeats the exact same thing that he did previously, beaming opponent that is rotating in front of him and then using the Nitro coin to immediately close the distance. Take a look though as he tries to break into the opponent's box, but he smartly invests 1 level's worth of hard mats here to prevent a lobby spray, and then double swings on the wall when the opponent is not paying attention and cleans up this fight, thus getting another refresh right before this endgame. After picking up that elimination, it is now time for the endgame. Muzz is looking to play aggressive here and notices fellow professional player Aiden is sitting on the high ground, and he starts it off with a significant amount of damage with the Mythic AR. However, he's looking for a refresh, so he jumps off of height and tries to get into this box with Nitro. However, he's unsuccessful and decides to just simply box up. After missing that opportunity for a refresh, Muzz is still looking to play aggressive and decides to go for height once again. He ends up popping a Nuka-Cola and a Nitro Splash to give him some HP when he goes for height, as well as some additional speed. He ends up eating a little bit of chip damage. However, he sprays out fellow professional player Angel on the high ground and eventually is fortunate enough to claim it, winning initially. Muzz is going to hold the high ground for a little bit longer here. However, Angel once again tries to contest him on height, thus burning his materials, and he smartly recognizes here that he's getting chopped out by another opponent, so he uses a Nitro Splash to immediately drop from height and catches Aiden off guard here as he tried to rebox using the Mythic AR to get in, and he gets a much needed refresh as well as the medallion and the Mythic AR. After picking up this elimination, Muzz is going to box the low ground here, which is not as bad as it previously was due to the fact that Nitro has been nerfed. He gets some damage onto this opponent as the zone changes, and as the opponent tries to get back into zone, he smartly peeks with his ramp here to get information, edits on him, and cleans up this elimination and gets a refresh. Now Muzz is going to use his very skilled mechanics to eventually change layers that gets him into a clean position here where he doesn't end up getting suffocated. After elevating and getting on a little bit clearer layer, he tries to grief out high ground here, spraying the floor, but ends up having a very lucky opportunity as the opponent was looking back for refreshes just on his lair, and Muzz catches him off guard, hitting him for a massive damage shot, cleaning up this elimination and giving the materials he needs to close out this game. After getting this impact, Muzz decides to play aggressive and go for height, and smartly recognizes that the opponent above him actually ended up dropping down, which gives him an opportunity here to claim height for free after editing through the cone and placing a bunch of ramps, essentially blocking that opponent off. And now high ground is his in this last zone. Muzz is going to hold the high ground until it's a 1v1 situation, and he smartly stays in zone. He jumps down, hip fires with very good accuracy, cracking that opponent down below, thus forcing him to stop taking a med kit and allow Muzz to heal in the zone as the opponent ends up healing in the storm. Muzz did have a significant amount of medkits, so more than likely he would have won this heal off. However, he didn't want to leave it to RNG since he had already done damage. He knew that all he needed to do was go into Storm here and basically fight that opponent, stopping his medkit, and that's exactly what he does. And Muzz ended up picking up his second Victory Royale of this tournament, which got him the first place overall. In this VOD review, we learned that Muzz is an incredibly intelligent fighter, but also showed you how you can overcome your mistakes by making smart impact plays later on in the game that can help you recover even if you end up making some mid-game mistakes. Well guys, that's going to do it for today's VOD review. I hope that you guys did enjoy. If you did, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. And I hope I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.